Well, we come this morning with some good news. It's the 2nd of May 2024. Lisandro Martinez back in full United training alongside Marcus Rashford. And we are here to obviously bring you the latest news and information as far as all this is concerned. Smash like button, comment and share. Rokan David is my name. And we're here to bring you the latest news and information coming in through from Manchester United. Alvaro Fernandes, huge boost, and he's going to be one of those players that Man United is going to be getting some huge amount of money from his sale or permanent exit in the summer. And Anthony is going to have to speak out onto his price that he was really bought for from Ajax to the side of Manchester United. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. We thank God for the gift of life with the Muslims. Barakallahu fikum, and may the living to God bless you abundantly. This is Aradi. Now let's see close to 300 likes marking this video and continue to subscribe because we want to hit 17,200 subscribers before the end of this week. So where do we start from? Lisandro Martinez. Sky Sports reporting that Lisandro Martinez and the man known as Marcus Rashford are back in training. It will be remembered that Lisandro Martinez returned and played in the game of I think Brentford after spending months without playing after getting a knee injury, as we are playing against I think West Ham at Old Trafford. And after that he found himself in a position of really getting out for some long time, and he has been out for weeks. He returns into training for the club of Man United, something that Erik ten Hag went ahead obviously hint on last week in the pre-match press conference ahead of the game that we are going to play against Burnley, that we are going to see 3 players return to United training session. He talked of Anton Martial, Luke Shaw and Lisandro Martinez, but Lisandro Martinez and Rashford have gone ahead obviously take center stage into returning. But I have my stance on Lisandro Martinez. All I want to say is that let's not hurry him back to play the game of Crystal Palace. I know he might make the match squad as we travel to London, but let's not obviously see him start. I think I would rather stay with the central defense of Casemiro and Harry Maguire in the mix, because I know exactly what it means to obviously rush a player like Lisandro Martinez. Yet we are left with 4 games to play. Remember, those 4 games have Crystal Palace, we have Newcastle, we have Arsenal and Brighton. I would rather not play him in the game of Crystal Palace and have him in the remaining 4 games, plus that of game of Man City in the FA Cup final. And we know the most important game left for the club of Man United is that we are going to be playing into that FA Cup final. But we are also still pushing for the UEFA Europa League, and maybe the manager will obviously read the fitness levels of Lisandro Martinez and see how he obviously gets us going. And I tell you what, he's the most important player at the club of Man United, I tell you, because he is the spine that Erik ten Hag went ahead to build our style of play on, especially playing from the back. He is a very good, technically gifted player. He inverts very well, and you can trust him with the ball when it comes to us building from the back. And the way he obviously inverts into the midfield as a left-sided centre back to create space, and find those line-breaking passes through to the forwards and the wide forwards is really unreal. He's a flawless player, and he really does impeccable things on the field of play. He rarely makes a mistake, and when you are with him into that central defense, you'll obviously understand exactly what team United is supposed to be having. So for me, I wouldn't rush Lisandro Martinez back. I would like to see him even play his first minutes, like the 10 last minutes as we're playing against Crystal Palace, and see when you're playing against, is it Newcastle, he's really ready to obviously give a go. That is it. But all in all, we have to be waiting to see what other returnees are going to be, because we are playing on Monday. So from now until Monday, it's really going to be something important, and you never know exactly what news are we going to get from the training ground. But he has got to have very many injuries. A metatarsal injury that kept him out for like 4 months. Then he got an injury, and what was going to keep him out for weeks has been what we call a calf injury. It shows you how unlike we've been as a side of Man United into the mix. So that is Lisandro Martinez for you, and we just can't wait to see him return. When he returns, obviously, Maguire will be played on the right side of the central defense, and Lisandro Martinez will be played onto the left side of the central defense. You never know, Varane might be back for the last 2 games of the season, and we might really play the last 2 games of the season when you're having Lisandro Martinez and Varane into the central defense. A central defense partnership that you would fancy to see Man United play with in the final of the FA Cup. I tell you this, I would fancy to see them play like that into the finals of the FA Cup. Now let's go to Marcus Rashford. Got injured when you're playing against Coventry, and is also back in training. He's also one of those players I don't want us to rush into back the team, because we saw how our team really plays with Garnacho on the left and either Amadi Diallo or Anthony onto the right. So I would rather not rush Marcus Rashford back, but he's one of those players that has gone ahead to be rushed back. But with the new ownership at Man United, I think no player is going to be having immunity and a lot of player power at the club of Man United. All we need to do is to trim those wings that really give these players a lot of player power and think that they're really untouchables. And with a statement being put out from the Ineos side that no player is really non-transferable apart from Kobe Mainoo, Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund, I think that's going to hit to obviously get into the heads of these players of United that this team is not here, Ineos is not here for jokes. Ineos is here for serious business. They are not here for jokes and playing around. They're here for serious business, and they are not here to see to it that they get us to where we've been. They're here to take us to the next level. And how do you take a team like Man United to the next level? By doing things that haven't gone ahead to be done or heard of at Man United, and other clubs that have gone to be successful like Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool have gone ahead to take. So we wait and see what happens, but Rashford shouldn't be rushed because I believe we are having players that can do a better job than him. That is it. For Luke Shaw, Anton Martial, we wait and see what is going to happen, because Ten Hag is going to be addressing the press, I think, on Friday, and he will come up with some good news. Whether Anton Martial and Luke Shaw will make it to the squad, to me it will be better, because Rasmus Højlund sometimes is taken off like in the game of Burnley, and he's not being given a very perfect backup. And if Martial can keep fit for the remaining games of the season, what will be a farewell for him if at all he goes while he's going to hit to lift an FA Cup for the club of Man United? What a better farewell for him, you know? So that's what we are waiting to see, and how these other players and how they're going to be acting into the mix. So after that, we go to Portugal, that is Benfica. There was a rapid decision made by Man United to obviously see to it that they get Alvaro Fernandes from Granada to Benfica, and in the contract there was money to obviously be met and sell Alvaro Fernandes, a player that came in through with Alejandro Garnacho and Llorito, in the same year, I think 2015 there. That's when they came in through. Now, out of those three, I think Garnacho is the one who is going to stay. Giroud has left and Alvaro Fernandes has left. There was fear that United was not obviously going to get in money for this guy because of not getting enough playing time. And remember that time when I did that story, I went ahead to criticize the team or the technical team of Man United for obviously getting this player from Granada, where he was getting ample playing time, to really getting him to Benfica. But finally, the good news is here, and it's going to have to be broken by what we call Record Portugal. They've told us that Alvaro Carreras will become a permanent Benfica player for around 6 million euros. And then later, Fabrizio Romano also added the following and said, Benfica are still planning to trigger the buy option clause for Alvaro Fernandes, almost 6 million euros to Man United. Plans have not changed, as he's doing very well, and Benfica expected to proceed even before the scheduled date. So he's really putting in a very good shift as a left back, and I know his quality. I know his quality, and I'm really excited that he has gone ahead to exit the side of Benfica, and he's really gonna be signed permanently. Now, for him, it's really good for him as a player because he's going to a team that plays in the Champions League and a team that has gone ahead to be really looked at by very many teams as a fishing ground to sign very many decent players. And for 6 million euros, United has 2 clauses into that deal. There is a sell-on clause and a buyback clause. So, if we happen not to obviously pick interest in re-signing him back at the club of Man United, he might obviously find himself in a position of being sold to another club. You get? But that buyback clause, I think, runs until 2026. You know, if we don't really claim for him until 2026, after 2026, we'll only benefit from what we call a sell-on clause. And I tell you, Benfica sells expensively. If you know Alvaro Fernandes and how he was going to obviously be playing, I tell you what, he's a very good left back. He's going to become one of the best left backs in the world. He has the height, press resistant, and he puts in some perfect crosses. He even scores goals. Recently went ahead even to score a goal with his weak right foot. So that best paints a picture that he might not return to Man United, but we are gonna get some huge amount of money out of him. If it's a 20%, they might sell him for like 50 million euros, and we might get in like 10 million euros from his sale. So I think that will be acting well for the club of Man United. But right now, if you're Manchester United, you'll be excited that at least you are having players from the academy that you can sell for 6 million euros. That will be a very huge achievement, adding that 6 million euros to the players that we are really having that are really gonna act as sources of income for us to really gather money to spend in this summer. I tell you, we need to sell very many players to gather in funds to bring in the right players at the club of Man United. A huge exit is expected, like Sancho, Donny van de Beek, Alvaro Fernandes. You understand? Those kind of players. You know, we can get some good amount of money from them. And after getting some good amount of money from them, then we can really get in others. So that is it for Alvaro Fernandes. I'm really excited about him. I love the player, and he's really moving at a faster rate. At the age of 2021, all you need is playing football. And if Benfica is going ahead to take him, I think he'll love the place. He went ahead to fit there well because of the language. You know, Portugal and Spain, they almost have a lot of similarities in food, language, and so on and so forth. So we look at Benfica. It's a very good side for him. He will develop better and return into one of the best left backs in the world very, very soon. He has the world at his foot. All he has to do is to continue doing what he's supposed to be doing. Now, we summarize this episode or first video of the day with a story coming in through from Anthony. Anton on his transfer fee, say the transfer fee doesn't really impact me because I know my worth. The money is the money, and obviously everyone speaks about it, but no one would if the performances of everyone and myself were at the top. It's something that is just a way of working harder, knowing I can get better. I know my worth, and I will show it. Now, you know, sometimes you ask, when is Anthony gonna really resurrect? Because he's one of those players expected to obviously coming through and really fight for this manager, right? And in the previous game we played against Burnley, he was into some good scoring positions and he failed to score until when he capitalized onto the mistake that was made by the defender of Burnley and went ahead to score that goal. But he would have gone ahead to put us ahead like 30 minutes back with a brace. But scoring that goal, his first of the Premier League season, obviously puts in a lot for the player as Anthony, but you really doubt on whether he'll obviously hit his ceiling at the club of Man United. I at a certain point X come out and really understand that maybe he needs a new challenge. The pressure at Man United is huge. If a Man United, I loan him to a Spanish side. You get? You loan him to a Spanish side and really gets himself better. He operates there, he sits players down, and you make sure you are really loaning him to a club that is playing in the Champions League, such that he comes in through, he thrives. After thriving, everything will be okay for him, because all he needs is a right kickstart, and if he gets a very right kickstart and puts in the shift, you can really get your money back. Like, you're going to hit to sell Jadon Sancho in the 6 months I was going to hit to spend at Borussia Dortmund. I tell you, his worthiness is going to hit to obviously get back to the levels as it's supposed to be. So I think that should be the perfect plan. With United going in for Olise, I tell you, I don't see anything happening. I don't see anything happening and changing with Anthony. He's trying his level best. In the recent past, I've gonna hate to see him really struggling and really putting in a very huge shift, but I don't find it giving and consistent enough to obviously dislodge a person like Amad Diallo into the team. And if at all you want to say to it that Anthony is not the best right attack midfielder to get the first 11 of Man United, let Amad Diallo settle in very well in these remaining games. You'll obviously get to know that we really have a player in Amad Diallo that can do the job. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokan David remains my name. Your reactions to Martinez and Rashford back in full training are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Alvaro Fernandes permanent sell happening soon, even before the scheduled date, because Benfica want to get it done and dusted? And lastly, what are your thoughts on Anthony and his price? He crossed from Ajax to Man United. It was £86 million or 100 million euros. Bye bye for now. Good morning.